Okay guys, so the Coronado came back. Not a phone call I was expecting to get, but my customer called me and said, hey, I've got a coolant leak on both sides of the engine. He noticed this more when he was actually parking. Okay, so the next day once the truck cooled off, I'll show you guys the video. I'm gonna post it in here in this video. But I want you to take a look. You can see the coolant down there at the bottom. You can see coolant just about everywhere. Now, it's not leaking from the cam housing because the cam housing doesn't have coolant. It really doesn't. That's really going to be an oil situation. Unfortunately, the problem we suspect, I'm going to show you on the other side so you get a better picture of what's going on. All right, guys, so this is the other side. This is the passenger side. We have a couple coolant leaks. Again, driver's side was one, but the main leak or the big problem is, let me get up underneath here and take a look. You're going to notice it's going to be on the side of the block. Now, the problem we have is between the cylinder head and the engine block is where we have the leak. And unfortunately, God, you really can't even see. It's going to start leaking from in there. I can't do it now, obviously, but again, I'm going to post a video, mix it all up. Now, this typically happens when you do not have the liners seated properly. There we go. There it is. So that's where the leak is. Now, if you're thinking, well, it's the EGR cooler, it's not, because we pulled the EGR cooler and it's completely dry, okay? It's not going to be the coolant manifold, okay? And if you're wondering what the coolant manifold is, it's typically this right here. So behind here, there's some gaskets. That's not leaking. Again, it's going to be something here in between the cylinder head and the engine block. So once we pull this thing off, I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about what we find. Hopefully it's just a head gasket situation, or maybe the guy didn't torque it down right. I don't know for sure. But either way, head's got to come out. We'll find out some more from there. Check this out. This engine was done, overhauled about 8,000 miles ago. This is the one that's leaking coolant in between the cylinder head and the actual engine block. Okay, so what we are going to do is we're going to pull this apart completely. We're going to do it with basically an in-frame. Okay, we're not going to pull the whole block out and send it out to the machine shop, but we are going to have somebody come out here, measure the protrusion, and if it's off, which more than likely it is off, they're going to go ahead and cut for shims, so that way the liner is protruding correctly, and then we'll get this all done correctly. So unfortunately for this guy, this in-frame only lasted about 8,000 miles before the coolant started leaking. So this is on the driver's side. I'm going to show you the passenger side. Here is the passenger side. Let's take a look and see if we see anything that's out of the ordinary. There really isn't much kind of going on here. Again, this is going to be your coolant. This is going to be coolant. These are where your head bolts go. This is oil. Your oil galley goes all the way down. So again, we're going to have somebody come in, take a look. Once we pull these liners out, we're going to get a bunch of coolant coming out. So be careful. Make sure you get something underneath that to catch it. So again, only 8,000 miles, and unfortunately this thing didn't hold up very well. So we're going to pull it apart. Hopefully we see, hopefully we have better news, really. So again, we're going to pull this thing out and go from there. Check it out. We have our DD15 that was overhauled about 8,000 miles ago. And this is the one that was done out of state. The one I was showing you with the coolant leak. So we did find one thing, and that was liner number 4, okay? Liner number 4 had a seal that was sitting right up here that was actually pinched on this side. So I'm guessing that's what caused the coolant to leak out of one end and kind of work its way and come on down this way. Everything else looked okay. I'm still gonna have my machine shop guy, Dan, he's gonna come out here and take a look, or his son Justin, and they're gonna measure the protrusion, okay, which is also very important. If it needs to be cut, this is a better view. So if it needs to be cut, what they'll do is they'll actually machine the inside of the block. They'll cut it for bushings, and then they'll measure the protrusion. So again, depending on what they find, that liner will have to sit up, you know, again, whatever the tolerance is, whatever Detroit recommends, that's what they're gonna set it at. So they're gonna check it all out. Once they do that, we'll put this engine back together. We are gonna use the same parts because they are new. Again, they're only 8,000 miles, but we're gonna use new seals, new a lot of things, but we're gonna try to save money where we can for this customer, being again that it's only 8,000 miles old. So, showing you guys that. I'm going to show you the liner right now. Okay, guys, so these are our liners. Liner number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So all these seals are going to be new. Of course, we're going to use the same liners. There's nothing wrong with the liner itself.
And I want to show you really quick. Let me flip this thing around. There it is. So there you go. This is what caused everything. The protrusion, I'm still going to check it just to be on the safe side. I don't want to have any issues. I certainly don't want my customer to have any issues, but there you go. This was pinched, and that was allowing the coolant to leak up and kind of squirt its way out and cause this problem that we have. So I'm going to clean all this stuff up. I'm going to put all away. We are going to use new piston rings just in case. I don't want any issues if something was damaged. We're going to use new bearings. Now these these rod bearings, with only 8,000 miles, they've got some pretty serious scratches there, I think, for 8,000 miles. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get this all done. Hopefully get this customer on the road within a week or so, depending on how busy the machine shop is. But there you go, I'll keep you guys posted. All right guys, so take a look. We went ahead and had the engine block resurfaced. Well, not really resurfaced, I take that back. We went ahead and had it checked out. Again, machine shop came over. They did cut for bushings, okay? So they did do the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay, all the way across. And the reason you do that again is for protrusion. So a lot of these get pitted, okay? Over time, these all get pitted. So when you don't have this taken care of, that could potentially cause the leak, which is exactly what happened. The mechanic that did the in-frame essentially pinched one of the liners, one of the seals, and that's what was causing the coolant to leak here on this side, on the driver's side, and of course on the other side. So unfortunately for my customer, we got to do the in-frame all over again. We're still going to salvage all the parts, but of course it's not really all about that. It's really about just making sure, guys, you got to know who's working on your truck. You got to make sure they're reputable. They stand behind their work. This guy stood behind nothing. Total piece of crap. Literally took his money. I'm going to tell you how much he charged for the in-frame, labor only, okay? So if you're looking at this right now, this is an in-frame. The engine is in the frame of the truck. You're not taking it out. You're simply just you're doing the R&R. So you're dropping main bearings, rod bearings, blah, 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 blah. He charged them $7,000 for labor. Now, you guys charge whatever you want. That's your business. But if you're going to charge that kind of premium, you damn well better stand behind your work. I mean, this sucks for this guy. You know, he's out in Florida. He comes out to California on a regular basis. But honestly, guys, to charge that kind of money and not stand behind your work is totally sorry for my language, guys. But anyway, we're gonna put this back together. And again, I just want to show you the finished product. I'm not gonna do a whole video on the overhaul because I've already done the rebuilding videos and all that stuff. So I don't want to bore you guys with that. But again, guys, just make sure you know who's doing the work for you and they stand behind you. So guys, if you have any questions, as always, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to help you guys out as much as possible. So there you go. I wanted to clarify something. I think I said in the video, the number 5 was the culprit, but in fact, it was the number 4 seal, or the liner seal. Okay, as you can see there, when we removed it, this is what was pinched, and this is what caused the entire problem. So when the engine was hot, it sealed okay, and then the coolant leak was rather light or rather small. But obviously once it cooled off, this doesn't expand anymore, and that's what allowed all that coolant to leak. So again, just my thoughts on it, guys. If you're gonna work on someone's truck, you have to be responsible for it. Don't just take the money and run. Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys like that out there. We're not perfect. We all make mistakes. I mean, that could have happened to anybody. But again, stand behind your work. That's what's, to me, most important. So again, if you guys like the video, smash the thumbs up, like button. Again, I don't know too much about the other mechanic that did the work. All I know, he's out in, I think, El Paso, Texas area. I don't know his name. I don't know much else. Customer hasn't told me anything, and maybe I think I'd rather leave it that way. But again, guys, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, smash it, let me know.